Okay, so it says it's going live. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, so we'll just we'll make sure it is live in a minute. Right.
Is that on your fan page, right?
Yes, on my fan page.
Okay, yeah, it looks like it's here.
We're here. Great. I'll let you monitor that while I just introduce. Welcome to episode 14 on this special day, 11/11, with my beautiful, magical numerologist friend, Bobby F Parihar. And today we're going to be tapping into the energy and abundance of 11/11. Who knows what magic might appear? The Abundance Show is about helping you become more of who you are, be you, become abundant. And each week we have somebody different on who it helps expand us into our abundance in all areas of our life. And one of my other goals for this show at the moment is to attract more of what I'm becoming, or my higher self wants to become, is a wild soul. So I'm looking at attracting more and more wild souls. And I'm, of course, talking to a wild soul today onto this show. So I'd like to now introduce Bobby onto the show, and away we go for the day.
Susie, how are you? Thank you so much for having me here.
I'm wonderful. I just have to tell you what I was doing yesterday. I was doing something called slaying the dragon. So really, getting rid of stuff that blocks our abundance. Because what I discovered last week after I did a reading last Monday was we did lots of work last week on letting go of limiting beliefs. And I'm just going to before we start, I forgot to do this. Bobby, do you want to say something about you and 11/11 while I'm just looking at what card might come up for the day?
Sure. I'll start by saying thank you, Susie, so much for everything and being in my life and having this show and having me on. We're gonna do this again next month, but this is like the
I love it.
spiritual. This is like the spiritual Super Bowl, guys. Like 11/11. This is it. Like everybody's always looking at this on the clock, and we're always looking at it, and we want to experience this energy and this vibe. Well, you're here now. This is it, and we're gonna do this together. So I feel unbelievably honored and privileged that you would open up this space for me like this. For all of us, all of you guys who are joining us, my heart extends and expands to you guys as we create this magnetic grid. Like literally, who knows where you are right now in the planet? From Australia all the way up to Vancouver Island, where I'm at. We're creating this vortex between us, and this 11/11 energy is absolutely amazing. Like for me, the main message, the main goal, the main ticket item for our talk or our focus is angels. We get a chance to see this divine connection that works through its magic through us. And you have women like Susie, with her deck and her calling and what she does to inspire people, and just the message of love and light that you bring through you. It's again an honor to work with you and an honor to be around you. So I appreciate giving you a really big hug through the computer right now.
Absolutely. It's just you just made my heart sing. And thank you. I think my vibes went up about 100%. So
Yeah.
that is just so beautiful on today. And I mean, I'm just loving this that Bobby is coming on every week. And those of you who were on last week know that we have another regular. There's a friend of mine who is a medium, and we did our first show together on Friday, and we had so much fun. She's going to come back every week, so every month. So
Yep.
I've now got two regulars. So I just feel that it's going to make the show really unique, and people will know, like on the 12th of the 12th, we know that Bobby will be coming back. we haven't quite worked out the first of the first yet, but we're going to work out how we do this, and the same with Beth Elaine Haynes. And you know, she and I channeled for everybody last week, so it just makes it so, yeah, really, really exciting. So
well, let's just throw it down now. On the month of the month, the day of the month, we're gonna do it. I'll be here with you. The first of the first, the second of the second, the third of the third.
All of 2020.
For all of 2020, let's make sure that this is it. We need to do this.
Locked in.
Yeah.
I just so it's just, isn't it interesting when we put out for things to come into the flow, and we're open and we do the work, and that's what I'm discovering at the moment, to do the work. And I know that Bobby and I are both with our partners at the moment doing quite a lot of Joe Dispenza work, which I'm finding is actually challenging me.
Honestly, it's so amazing, and it's worth the challenge. Welcome to the unknown. Honestly, it's good.
Yeah, breaking the habit of being you. I'm on week 2 meditation, and this morning I think it threw me sideways. So, but I'm back, and I'm centered, and I'm excited. So let's just see. We drew this morning. I have these cards. I'm just going to these 2 cards flew out this morning: Courage and the Yes card, followed by, we've got to really focus. So, you know, we've got to have the courage to change. We've got to have the courage to step into our abundance, truly say yes, and listen to our inner wisdom, and then have the strength to focus on what your vision is. And that's what we're going to be talking about on my show, on my lives this week, is our vision. So, but I want to just do a special card just for 1111. So let's see. Let's all, everybody who's watching, and I'm sorry, I'm not watching the stream at the moment. I will be in a minute. Just focus on your heart and ask your heart, what's the abundance that I'm going to call in today? I've got everything. Hold on. Let me just get everything jumbled here around the wrong way.
Sarah's saying she needs your deck. I'm just going to let her know. Yeah, you do.
Oh, thank you. Now, let's 1, 2, no. Middle. Right, says the bottom. Oh, I just heard take the bottom card. Look what the bottom card is. Freedom. Freedom. Freedom, my top value. Freedom, where I want to be heading. Freedom, a business that I met Bobby through. I think this is really, really special on 1111. Okay. Right. So let's take it away. 1111, Bobby. What is it that makes these 2 numbers so magical? And that, you know, we keep, as you say, we keep seeing it. When people see it on their clocks or whatever else, they go, they show it. We see it a lot on Facebook.
Yeah. So today I'm going to suspend all logical belief and all analytical, tangible. We're just going to go super straight up into spirit right now.
Right.
We're a spiritual experience having a human experience. We are a spiritual energy. We are a divine connection from a source that we can't quite understand. It's like trying to explain 3 dimensions to a 2-dimensional object. There is an intangible, infinite, out of space, out of time, like abundance that basically works and manifests through us. This is the void. It's dark matter. It's this stuff that's, it's a 99.99% empty space. You know, we look at this outside of the visual spectrum. So there is so much more to understand what we have to have really, and you put it really nice inside of here, was first of all to have the courage. Courage is an emotion you have in the face of fear, in the face of uncertainty. You know that you have to be brave. It's not that you just like you're like courage comes when things are happening. And so we've got Mercury retrograde, we've got a full moon happening here, we've got 11/11 energy, and so we have to say yes, which is the abundance factor, to know that we can quite possibly move through that with the idea of yes and working with the flow. And that will definitely take us a lot, like because it says here focus. So we have to really put, and this is funny because you mentioned Joe Dispenza. So we have to really know, because when we go outside of what's real, tangible, 3D, space, time, analytical, logical, we need to have order, we need to have process, we need to know, we need to have stability. And so having an unknown gives us an ability to say, oh, you're going to need courage here because you're going to step into the dark. But you have to say yes to the dark. You have to say yes to the unknown. And with that, you have to focus, because as soon as you get there, guess what? The thoughts start creeping in, and I don't know if I can, but I've never done it, and I don't know, and I don't know. We go sideways. And so having this 11/11, when you see it on a clock, you see it on a time, you see it in the receipt, you see it anywhere you go, it's this like weird little Morse code from spirit that says, you got this, you can do this, please don't give up, just take a deep breath, just know that spirit is shining on you and that you have an open gateway door to illuminate through your darkness in case you're feeling like you need it. And a lot of people see it all the time. I see it all the time. And it's this loving spotlight from my, if I'm on the stage of life, and my spirit team, my spirit guides, they're working the light show, and they're putting their spotlights on me so that I can actually be seen, and I can actually be out there promoting my message and promoting our love that we have to help the universe get to a new place. So when you wrote those cards, I'm like, that's just so beautiful. And then you went in one further, and you're like, freedom. And this is what's breaking right now, because we're seeing careers not working anymore, schools not working, medicine's not working anymore. The old paradigms are breaking, and we need to be able to have courage to go through it, as opposed to clinging onto a boat that's sinking. We have to say, we don't need a boat, we don't need water, we're flying. And that saying yes, that abundance, that weightlessness that comes outside of linear space and time gives us an ability to fly free, so that we can be digital marketer, entrepreneur, nomads, and live on the beach and do whatever we want anywhere in the world. We're not reporting to a time clock, we're not reporting to a clock in, clock out. We're breaking and shattering that paradigm, and with that, pieces of ourselves. And I like to think that the egg feels pretty anxious about breaking, but there's a butterfly, there's a dragon, there's a bird inside that says, I need to break free. And there's a transcendence that we get to go through inside of that. So when you look at the numerology of 11, and we see it's a double digit, so it's a mastery number, it's a reflection of self. This is that twin flame or soulmate energy. And it's also this feeling of thinking, I am going to help another. I am going to do this for the world. And that can be at a really big pain or at a really big cost of ourselves, because, going through mastery, it's like baptism by fire. So when we go through that, we're experiencing a very challenging energy to express, because it's not easy. It's outside of the paradigm. We're breaking things in order to get there. So for me, when I see it, hey, I've got to take a minute just to and it's funny you said at 11, we're going to take a minute, because it's one of those realities that we have to rise bigger than what we are. And sometimes that just takes a lot of courage. So I'm glad that those cards got pulled out today. That's a wonderful message.
Thank you. And I think that is interesting. And also, while we at 11:11, when we're going to do a minute silence for remembrance, we're also going to do this is, as you say, things are changing. Australia's on fire, the east coast of Australia and other parts of Australia. And one of my close friends just sent me a message this morning saying, I can't do anything at the moment. We have to, they're threatening catastrophic fires tomorrow. It's just, there's already 200 homes being lost and things. And it's just these catastrophic fires was just being explained. Even though people build, total fireproof homes, these catastrophic fires will just go through everything. So it's, you know, there's so much pain and things, but there's so much community and all these, as you were talking about, you know, people helping one another. And that is so, so, so important. But yeah, it's just, Des and I have just put Firewatch on our phone. We're very blessed where we are because we feel we're very safe where we are. But the sky, the sun this morning, Bobby, was bright red, and it's just surrounded by smoke. And it's been like that for, yeah, it's very, you know, really, really sad. And it will affect people that we know. So it's, I don't know. I just wish I could do a rain dance that poured all the rain down. That's what we need at the moment. We just need rain.
It happens in where I'm part of the world as well too. Where we are, the forest fires, and we've got a very large level of, you know, rainforest inside of where we are, right? And it hurts. It hurts to see that color in the sky. And you know, for those of us who are connected to nature, if you're connected to spirit, you're connected to energy. When I saw it, my heart hurt to think how many lives, how many animals, how many things were displaced, you know, how many people were evacuated from their homes. So for anybody who's dealing with that, my heart goes out to you, and it absorbs so much of that pain. I mean, I myself am a life path 11, so I'll unnecessarily take on a lot more energy than I need to. It's the name of the game. We're here on this planet to provide light, and sometimes that means we have to go into the darkness to get it. So you know, things can be replaced. Let the world do what it needs to do. Let go and love. Protect your families. Protect yourselves. If you're hearing this message, you know, do what you can to support, even if it's just a 1-minute prayer, even if it's honestly just bringing awareness to it. And you know, it's just nuts. I remember as a kid, Australia had a reputation for having this thinner ozone layer. Okay, like where there was more radioactive energy coming to the planet through that part of the world, and I had no awareness of spirituality at that time. But it makes me realize why there's such a huge level of spiritual awareness in that part of the world, and why what I do is so popular down where you guys are. It's because it's so much more connected to this sort of spiritual realm. The veil is very thin there, and that can also result in catastrophe. And it's a challenge to think God's testing us all, being like, let's see how strong you really are. Everyone's spiritual until you have to go through it, until you have to go through it yourself. And so I'm blessed that we have so much strength and community out there. But my heart goes out to you guys if you're affected by that. Like that, it's not fun, it's not fair. And I hope that you guys find, you know, peace during such a challenging, troubling time.
Finding that inner peace is just so, so important. And I just heard the premier of our state say, you know, be prepared, leave today, don't wait till tomorrow. And it's just because, as you say, properties can be replaced, but lives can't. And I think it's
where do you go? Like, what, this is home. You know, I mean, like, can you imagine what some people are going through? They're like, where the hell am I supposed to go?
I know. The only time I've experienced that was as a child, and we were I lived near the bottom of a mountain with a lot of trees, and fortunately it never came that close. There were enough fire breaks for it to stop. So you know, you see the images and you just, unless you were in it, I don't know that we could even understand what it's like for people.
It's so sad. Absolutely so sad.
So
and, you know, and especially on a day like today, you know, when we're experiencing angel energy and this, it's like a numerological magnet to ascend. And for me, I'm thinking life is life, energy is energy. People have the ability to get up and go. Birds have the ability to just get up and fly away. But what about the animals and the people who can't, or the homes that get destroyed? And people put so much value into our tangible reality. And it's not a bad thing. I'm not going to shame anyone for loving your couch and loving your big screen TV or loving the roof that protects your family. We get attached to it, becomes a family member. a neighbor of ours had their house burned down at 3 in the morning, and blessed that everyone got out of the house, you know, from the cat to granddad, everyone got out of the house. But, you know, it hurt us all as a street to think, oh my God, like someone's family, like this is a big deal. And for me, it's a big deal, you know, to experience that. So I gladly take the hurt that anyone else is feeling, because I know that my heart is big enough to help people move through that, and to give you guys the support you need, whatever it may be. If you're affected, I don't know, have a conversation with me. I'll read your numbers. I don't even know what I can possibly offer than just a loving prayer to say that, you know, the will to survive will continue on.
And that we are both here to help, you know, reach out, and also to give you more love and to give you more light, I think is there. So we'll pop back to our theme for today. And interesting, as you mentioned, we have a full moon tomorrow, which I have been reading about. I'm just learning more about the moon, but it's the energy of it is meant to be something that we can really focus on the abundance and things. So with the special energy of today, Bobby, is there anything that you can suggest to the listeners that they can do with this energy that will, you know, help them tap into the abundance? And what's come up today here is the freedom, by being, you know, of this reflecting more on yourself, I suppose.
Well, freedom is a funny word, because, you know, we lock up parts of ourselves so much, and we hold on to ideas and limiting beliefs and things about us we hold on to so much. And, you know, when we get a chance to see, you know, Mercury's passing between the Earth and the sun, and like the moon is full, and 11/11 is happening, and there's all this like get rid of it energy that's going to come out. And it's almost this like, you know, I'm playing tug of war with my dog here to take something away from her. And the same the Earth is going to be doing that with us, saying, break free, emancipate from your challenge, get rid of the things that are no longer serving you. For me, when it's a full moon, I'm always talking about this, you know, like getting rid of things that no longer serve you, whether it be physically. Me and Sally are downsizing. We're getting rid of stuff. We're donating things from our kitchen. We're getting rid of things. I just took the garbage out. Like, as small as just taking out the garbage and like taking out the recycling. And then to the more spiritual effect of smudging with white sage all over our crystals, all over our bodies. We're going to do a sacred prayer tonight. We're letting go of these things. You know, it's been tough. Communication breaks down, where I feel one thing, she feels the other. We're butting heads, and to think we're not going to get to where we need to with the negative vibration energy. So we have to be able to rise above it. And the only way we do that is to offer, and we give what we've been locked up. Like, oh, I need to be heard, or I need to be validated, or I need, and that constriction energy of I've given the power of what I need away to someone else. We need to give that thing away. We have to absolutely not live in that world where someone else is going to be responsible for ourselves. Everyone else gets inside of our heads, from society to government to everyone. They make us do our own damage so that we're locked to our own fear.
The only way we do that is to offer, and we give what we can.
I got you.
I need to be validated, or I need.
All right. So I honestly believe that this is a once a month thing. I mean, you take a shower every day, hopefully, right? So once a month, you should see this lunar cycle comes back in and says, what are you getting rid of now? For me, once a week, my garbage comes out. Once every 2 weeks, it's garbage or recycling, garbage or recycling. And we have to get into the process of understanding that as we grow through the planet, as we grow through every day, we're going to collect energy that's not ours, experiences that don't belong to us. We're going to identify with things that don't quite serve us, or maybe they played a piece. Like, you get like, oh, I got a brand new widget, something cool for my living room. It came in a box. It came wrapped in plastic. I'm not going to keep the box or the plastic. I'm going to unwrap it, settle it in, whatever it is, and then I'm going to dispose of the remnant energy of what's going on. So the same thing we can do within our hearts and within our vibes is to really take that energy on and think, okay, I had to go through an experience. I grew through it. Now I'm going to forgive myself. I'm going to forgive others. I'm going to allow myself back the power. I'm going to give myself what I truly need. And that's that release energy. And I like to think the full moon is like a big, huge light magnet. Is right in the darkness of all things. It illuminates this big, huge, glowing orb that says basically you can see in the darkness. And that means you can point it out and be like, I don't like that. I don't like that. This is not what I need, right? So in order to pull in the abundance is happening whether you like it or not. Where you can't call in abundance. I don't know if this is like going to contradict what you feel or not, but abundance is everywhere. And we have to.
Abundance is why I go to the beach every day, because that's what I see is abundance. I just want to say I can see quite a few people watching, but I can't see any comments there. I just checked. If people would like to drop in and say hi, that would be wonderful. And, maybe let us know where you're calling in from or watching from.
I got people on my watch party here. Diane's saying, I'd love to be there for anyone who's endured loss of all worldly possessions. She's gone through a house fire, so she knows what that looks like. The shock lasts forever. Eventually, everything returns back to earth. That butterfly feeling, absolutely. Love is wisdom. For Joe Dispenza, Sally says, it's like trying to explain the internet in 1990. Yeah. So we do have some words here. Jessica said, or Sarah says, those spoke right to me. So we're talking about those cards. Sarah, get your hands on a deck of those cards. I'm telling you right now, you need to have them inside of your life. I promise you that.
Yes, I will drop the link.
Of us here from Melbourne. So yeah, we do have some comments coming in. But,
all right, okay. It's just for some reason on my computer at the moment, I couldn't see them. I probably should have started a watch party as well, but you've got a watch party going, so I'll check that out later.
Cool.
And we've got in 3 minutes, just for all the people watching, in 3 minutes, we are going to do 1 minute silence. Remember, it's on 11/11 here in Australia is a Remembrance Day for the soldiers and that. But we're also going to do, everybody, we will do a prayer in our hearts for all the people who are undergoing sort of loss in bushfire areas, and not just in Australia. I know that there are people in America who've been hurting as well with that, and so it's interesting to see. We sit here as Bobby says. I mean, I sit here and I'm just looking out my window. And I mean, I could be in the tropics. I'm looking out at palm trees. If you're not feeling abundant, Bobby's just put in a new background. How wonderful. I love it. That was wonderful. That was abundant. There we go. Now that's the place that is full of abundance. If I am ever giving myself a hard time and or things aren't working out well, or I've beaten up on Susie, which I do occasionally, the beach is where I go. Once I've got my feet in that sand, in the water, looking at the waves, breathing in, breathe in love, breathe out gratitude. I've got the expanse of the blue of the sky. How can one not feel abundant? But for those of you who don't have, like I have, the magic of the beach, look out your window, or even just look around your house. Look at the back of what Bobby's got there at the moment. He's, you've got books. We are surrounded by so much abundance that sometimes we don't see it. And when we're about to go live in a minute, and when we come back from this, I'm going to just give everybody a little exercise to do to make sure you are seeing all the abundance that we have in your life. Right, so for now, I'm just there'll be a little bell rings at the end. We're just going to do 1 minute's meditation or 1 minute's prayers and giving thanks. Right. So what came to me then was, with my prayers, was really praying for peace and for freedom for the world as well, because that's what those people fought for in that time, for peace and for freedom. So thank you for joining in there. The other thing I would like to just say, this was an exercise I was given once by one of my mentors, Michael Lozier. Was he didn't feel I was seeing all the abundance in my life, so he got me to get a little journal and every day to write down 5 things I was grateful for. And what I've done with that is 5, and everybody, if you want it, I've got a little journal that you can print out and fold up and put in your pocket, or you can just do something on your phone. Is 5 things you're grateful for. And what I'm adding in is, how does that make you feel? Because when we feel abundant, you can feel abundant by drinking water. Think of the number of people in the world that don't have that water.
That's true. Things we take so much for granted.
We do. We take so much for granted. And I think I'm really very much into sort of bringing all of this back. This is maybe my early childhood, preschool background, is to really bring it into children, because I find we're surrounded where I live with a lot of children. And some of them always say please and thank you, and some of them doesn't even enter their thing. So I think if we can bring those values and things back, that then allows us, the more abundance we see, the more gratitude we feel, the more love we have, then comes inner peace, and then we have the freedom that we all truly desire and deserve.
What a spiritual message. It's good. It's like bringing back the real good, being in gratitude. They're magic codes, guys. Like when you say please and thank you, like I know it sounds super basic, but you're giving a command to the universe that you respect its nature and that you're absorbing and are willing to accept in love what is being given to you and what you can give out. So when you do things like that, it goes a long way. And one of my boys does this. He just automatically uses his manners, and you don't even have to ask him. And it's just such a wonderful experience when we see that, because he's just such a sweetheart when he does that, right? My little Stanley. And he brings his mat. He's like, "Can I please have some?" or "Thank you." He always does that. And we're big on making sure your manners come in. But then parents get into the problem of, "Hey, come on, say please. Hey, make sure you say please and thank you."
That doesn't work.
I don't think
that's about. It's sort of like I was explaining something to 2 guys yesterday in a group about the language that we use, because it had come up last week on my readings, and so I got everybody to start making a list of all your limiting beliefs, and 3 words that you need to lose from your vocabulary are don't, not, and no. And it's really, we think how often, and I mean, I'm guilty of it too, How often do we say to a child, don't do that? No. And so it's about becoming present and being much more focused on the good and then helping them see it. So explaining it in a way that it can just come across. But from what Bobby was saying before, it's this whole letting go. And I struggle with it. I struggle with all my artworks and, an office here of stuff. And we know we have to move in under 3 months. And I really have to let go and pack up the things that I can use, not the things I might use. And if for anybody else who's an artist, and particularly if you've been a textile artist, I mean, I have a box next to me here that is full of fabrics. So somebody will eventually get somebody who makes quilts for hospitals, for children and things. I will donate those things too. But there's just that thing, oh, maybe one day I'll have time to do it. And I realize now it's about the clutter on my computer, on your phone and things, is letting all of that go because you're blocking what needs to flow in.
It's true.
Is that right, Bobby?
It really is, because things hold energy. That you can freeze water that's been preyed on, and you see the energy inside of it there. So we have to be really careful about that. And I hate hoarding. I always do it. I'll use this later, or I'm going to use this later, or I'll have a use for this. And then next thing you know, I never do. And so downsizing, it feels good. It feels good to release. Oh man, you just afterwards you feel lighter. My kitchen feels better right now. And it's tough because we go in there and there's food that, in their pantry, like stuff that you can't use anymore. And we're like, see, we don't even use it and we have to get rid of it. We could have donated this and we can't donate it now, right? Because, and that's a lesson we have to learn, because I can't just go and say to the shelters or food bank and give them cans that are gone, that can't be used anymore. And it's a pain to think, because whenever Sally's like, what are we going to eat? And I'll tell you, my favorite response is the oldest thing in the fridge that's not going to make, that I can. I'm going to eat I want to make sure I can go through stuff that I save because I want to pull value out of it. And that paradigm, I have that 4 in there. Sally's a life path 4, Susie a life path 4. There's a level of being stubborn. There's a level of holding on to things.
Oh, really?
Number. And so you're okay. You're off the hook. I'm not going to make you feel bad about it. But there's a transcendence in letting things go. And especially when we have planets and moons and, dates and all of these things happening at once, it's almost like, come on, tip it over, let it go. Like you can let this stuff go. It's going to feel really good once you do it. So that could be, because people are watching this. And I can feel people be like, oh, speak it to me, man. Is that idea that I have that I'm not good enough? Let it go. Or that idea that's like, I'm going to use this later and I'm stuck with all the whizzing energy of things that are around me. You can let it go. It's completely fine to do things like that, because otherwise we're constricting our energy. It's like taking a hose and putting a kink in it, and then next thing you know, there's no flow. You can't hold your breath. You have to let go of your air. And, that's a really good meditation of letting go. Let go every time you exhale. So, I thought that was pretty funny to think, because when you were talking about freedom, those are the bars of the prisons that we create, is the stuff that we stack around us, and I hide under the word of collector. I like to collect things. So, I'm a connoisseur of collection. And so I like to think that sort of saves me a little bit. But some of my old clothes, nope, I get rid of them. Or some of our old stuff for our kids, get rid of them. Put them in boxes, donate them. Someone else is going to use them, and continuously circulate that energy. When you pour your cup out, the universe is ready to pour it on you.
Back in, yes, absolutely.
And if you have all your stuff full, everything that gets poured on you just spills. And not only do you have old stuff, but the new stuff for you is all over the ground. And you're like, well, where's my new abundance? It's like, well, you're holding up space on that shelf. So really, really powerful message, especially as we reach 11/11. like on 11/11 here. Just wanted to say that, yeah, love you guys, and I appreciate all you guys for watching us. It's because of the audience, it's because of you, Susie, and all of us that we get a chance to speak this together. So I fall into abundance. Let it be like gravity.
So what you're saying is today is another good day for releasing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, more things to release, and also those thoughts. It's a really good day to, for those of you who didn't last week, make that list. Think, be really conscious of the words that you're saying. And then I shared on my page what I choose to believe, and I made it into a poster which people have really liked. But I choose to believe that money flows to me with ease and grace. I choose to believe, and when we do that, we're changing our consciousness of what we're hearing. Whereas if we're in lack, and we're doing the just getting by, which I have done, the universe says they're not ready. They're not ready. So it's really, really important, as well as clearing out your physical things, to clear out the mental thoughts and to put into place the pictures of your life as you see it, and begin to believe. And you believe that this is what you're living now, which is why we use vision. Some people have to use what works for them. Vision boards don't work for everybody. Some people like to listen. I did see Bobby and Sally at a restaurant drawing out their new home, which I thought was pretty amazing.
Yep.
Mm.
Why not? Go ahead and tell the universe which timeline you're choosing.
Yes.
Like, you get it. You're the creator of your own destiny. And people like, yeah, give me some of that more spiritual stuff. It's so true. The message you broadcast out is going to reverberate, and you need to understand this is a scientific thing. This is not a spiritual anything. This is electromagnetism, and we are literally electromagnetic beings. We're using radio antennas every single day. So when I'm drawing my house out, I'm telling the universe, you see what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
I'm accepting my future. I'm not drawing a picture of me sad, like that's not the picture I wanna create. And so, and we get lost a lot, and that's okay too. It's a time to recognize everything as it should be. Everything is needed. Everything has a purpose. Even if it doesn't show it to you now, it could be just that catalyst for change. It could be an opportunity for someone who's ready to help you, and that you're showing up as the thing for them. But letting and understand that everything has a purpose is a really, really powerful way. It's easier to collect some of that silver lining, because
And then we begin to realize also the quantum, the quantum field that's out there, and what we can do through our thoughts and that to influence that as well.
It's more unlearning. That quantum thing is a messy world. We have to unlearn, unknow, unidentify, let go of our ego. And Sally was trying to explain this because she's becoming supernatural right now. Joe Dispenza reading the book, and she's talking all about how there's a space between reality that we have to exist in, where we're no thing, no person, no energy, no identity, and that's where we really get into our heart and brain coming into the same energy, and that's where that divine level comes up. We're getting knocked this way, we want to go this way, and the heart leads the brain, and the brain's trying to be like no, and it's a survival mechanism. So go easy on yourself, in case you're like, but it's so hard and I don't know what I'm doing. And I get it, those programs are there. Write it out, like Susie's saying, write it all out. And and when because you said about writing 5 things you're grateful for, I tell my clients, write 5 things you're letting go of, or 5 things you need to work on, or put it out there so that it no longer stays locked up, constricted in your mind. You get a chance to actually see it in front of you. So super huge loving reminder.
that is, and because that's it, because we get it locked in here. And I mean, I can give people an example. I'm on week 2 of breaking the habit of being you, and I think one of the, you're writing out things about yourself, but you're writing out, what's the emotion you want to let go of? What is it, right, letting go, putting it out there while you're meditating, what you're letting go of, and then a prayer for who you want to be. And this, I'm only on week 2, but I'm not sure where Sally's at. And I have found it quite challenging to actually, and it's to be in that space where, as you say, you are nowhere, because that's not what we're used to.
Well, you like a good challenge, and I know you're up for the challenge. I honor your space, and I see you as a sage of wisdom. So for you going through a challenge, for me, I'm like, oh, watch, she's gonna knock it out of the park. And of course, we're not gonna go to the place where it's easy. We're gonna go to the place where it is a challenge. That's the whole spice of life. So for me to be okay with that, it's one of those wonderful feelings. But we rely on each other, because when I'm going through a tough time and I don't know, Sally's like, just don't worry, don't stress. And the same thing, you're like, man, it's so challenging. And I'm like, yeah, but you're our favorite challenger. Like you're the champion. So you're going to find a place where you need to expand that level. And a lot of people are going to experience that as well. And it's funny, you were saying something there. I can't remember exactly what it was, but in my head, I heard spirit being like saying, this is a safe and healing space for those of you who are watching, just in case you're joining us. There's a healing going on right now. And a lot of people are getting a chance to experience that, just because for you, it's different for some people. Some people need to write things out. Some people need to hear people speak. Some people need to be involved in it. You need to go through their own experience. This is like a form, what we're doing right now is a form of hypnotism. What we're doing is we're actually giving people a consciously guided meditation just by experiencing this information together. Something inside of you is being let go. And even for me, I'm like, oh, I can feel it here. I can feel it out here. I can feel all of this stuff expanding. And I'm like, hey, it's not mine. I'm connecting to someone right now who's going through something. And when we hold energy in our chest, women hold it in their chest, inside of their back, of holding the weight on the world or societal beliefs. It's okay. I know that we're a product of our environment, but we're also evolving. We're evolving. And this is why this magical, spiritual, epic, awesome space exists, so that we can remember that there's a divine parting of the clouds to allow us to remember our true purpose. So, wow.
That's
so
wow. That was amazing. And it's interesting because my back, I've got spasms across my back. So, well, I see when you said that, and I thought, wow. So, and that's
you're helping a lot of people just by experiencing that pain. If that spasm's in there, that's I doubt that's yours. I feel like you're just such a loving conduit for everybody's energy. Don't forget that as you open up your heart, open up your wings as well, and let that energy flow right through us. Woo! Something I got to remember every single day.
Yes, and it's really important to do that, because we're probably both quite good at taking on other people's energy as well.
Sure. And remember, if we're kind of stubborn, we'll be like, no, it's mine. And then we'll be like, it's not really mine. We just owned it for someone, gives us a pride of healing. Like, oh, I'm a healer. And then, but we forget and neglect to heal ourselves. And that's where we become opportunities for each other to build this type of community. So heck yeah, we're going to do this every single month for sure.
And I've just been, I went to a breathwork session on Friday night, and I was given an exercise that I shared with somebody last week, but for releasing and releasing into our vision. I'll do it as a live this week, but it's about, really breathing in. Trey called this 100, breathe in 100 happy breaths, but feel them down here, in your gut there. You're breathing into the lower part of your body, because so many people get stuck up shallow breathing. So it's I know, but we'll do 100. Do 100 And what I realized, that's what I could have done this morning before I actually started my meditation. So I was releasing any anxiety, I think. Anxiety I was feeling, because for those of you who may not have read Break the Habit of Being Yourself, it is quite challenging, because, you know, you, things do not change immediately overnight when you've been doing things for, in my case, so many years that I've developed patterns. So there's part of my ego, because as Des said, I came home last night really high. I've had, healings most of the weekend of letting go and releasing. Ego jumped in, subconscious jumped in and said, no way. So, it's been wonderful doing this today, because I can just feel a different energy that I've got. And that's what we have to, what is it? Ego, edge God out. It's and with this work, it's very much, the subconscious wanting to take over, and we're not always aware of that.
We have so many brains and so many levels of consciousness. I think for me, one of the biggest wonders that you can do is give yourself permission and thank your subconscious for protecting your butt and keeping you safe, because it's a safety mechanism. But to also understand that the chrysalis won't be important forever. Like the egg won't be important forever. A time will come where we evolve into a brand new level of unknown, and what we used to know, our habits that protected us, are now redundant. And we have to process that cleanup so that we can get ready for the new thing that's happening. Because 2020, it's the year of Susie, everyone. Just so you guys know, that's a 4 energy next year. If you haven't cleared out your stuff, you're going to be tripping over yourself. We need to get to work next year. And so we need to clear, guess what? Focus. That's why it comes up there. If you want your freedom, you have to let go. You got to go into the unknown. You have to say yes to the future. You got to focus that stuff. And so that way it can actually come and serve you. But I'm excited. Next year's
I've still got a busy 6 weeks or so for all this clearing and things.
Yeah. Well, a lot of that energy is really with us for the rest of the year. So it's okay. You have full permission. And the reason why I say clear out your physical stuff, because that was one of those things that I could do that helps me get into the mental clarity, the spiritual clarity, is to let go of things physically. Then I feel mentally ready to be like, you know what? I don't need to hold on to that negative thought anymore. I'm going to forgive this person. They don't know what they're doing. I didn't know what I was doing. Let's just love and be love.
Yeah. And on that note, we might conclude for today on this magical 11/11. For all the people watching the replay, please put in your comments as well. I will come back and respond to anything that is there. And Bobby, do you have any parting words for our viewers?
I love you guys so much. Thank you guys so much. So much love. Free love for you all. Susie, make sure you go through mine. My watch party had comments on it too.
I will.
People are definitely saying some really cool things here. And just love yourself. Have a good one-on-one in the mirror, and just have that feeling. My friend said he does it naked. I'm like, well, okay, that's a good one. That's really vulnerable with yourself, right?
Well, when you do it naked, then it's about loving every part of your body.
Truth.
Yeah. If you do the mirror work in a full-length mirror, then you're not going to worry about bits of flab or whatever. You're loving yourself fully as you are, and that is so important to helping yourself shift into being fully abundant.
Let me quickly add to that.
Yeah.
The 11/11, that all these ones that are facing each other, it's like spiritual mirror work, because it's a reflection of yourself over and over and over again, where you suddenly start to see your infinitism in its actual abundance. So, so wonderful how that sort of parallels.
That is amazing. And what a wonderful note to finish on. Thank you so much, Bobby. Thank you for everybody who's been watching. And I love you all. And remember, still tap into you to become abundant. Namaste.
Take care, guys.